the latest release of U.S. Justice Department documents related to the late financier Jeffrey Epstein has reignited political debate and public scrutiny. His thousands of pages revealed references to numerous high-profile figures, while containing few, if any, mentions of U.S. President Donald Trump. The documents, released following a bipartisan congressional mandate, represent only a partial disclosure of the government's Epstein-related records. Officials say the files were heavily reviewed and redacted to protect privacy and comply with legal requirements, with additional materials expected to be released gradually in the coming months. While the release has drawn attention for the number of well-known individuals referenced, critics from both political parties argue that the disclosure is incomplete and raises questions about transparency. The Justice Department released the documents in response to a law passed overwhelmingly by Congress in November, requiring the department to disclose records related to its handling of the Epstein investigation. Officials acknowledge that the materials made public so far represent only a fraction of the total archive. Many documents were heavily redacted. Some lengthy files were almost entirely blacked out. The department cited the scale of the review process and the need to protect victims' identities as reasons for the limited release. Despite these explanations, lawmakers from both parties expressed frustration, saying the disclosure fell short of what the law intended. Among the documents released were photographs and records referencing celebrities, business leaders, and political figures who had social or professional contact with Epstein over several decades. Former President Bill Clinton appears repeatedly in the released materials, including photographs taken during Epstein's social gatherings. Officials emphasize that inclusion in the files does not imply wrongdoing, and that many of the images lack context regarding time or location. Other public figures appearing in photographs include musicians, media personalities, business leaders, and members of prominent families. None of those individuals have been charged with crimes related to Epstein. Legal experts stress that the presence of a name or image in investigative files does not equate to evidence of illegal conduct. One of the most widely discussed aspects of the release has been the absence of references to President Donald Trump. This absence is notable given that Trump and Epstein were publicly acquainted in the 1990s and early 2000s. Trump has acknowledged knowing Epstein socially, but has consistently denied any wrongdoing and stated that their relationship ended before Epstein's legal troubles became public. Previous disclosures over the years have included Trump's name in unrelated records, such as flight manifests and photographs. However, in the latest batch of documents, searches for Trump's name produced few results. Democratic lawmakers noted that a file containing a photograph of Trump appeared briefly in the dataset before being removed. The Justice Department and the White House did not immediately comment on the reported removal. The handling of the Epstein files has become a political issue as the United States approaches the 2026 midterm elections. Some Republicans expressed anger that the release did little to resolve lingering questions, while Democrats accused the administration of selectively disclosing information. House Democrats demanded clarification regarding missing files and deletions, while Republican lawmakers criticized what they described as excessive redactions. The bipartisan frustration highlights the sensitivity of the issue and the risk that the disclosure process may further erode public trust. Survivors connected to the Epstein case have also expressed disappointment. One survivor, Marina Lacerda, said the extensive redactions felt discouraging and left survivors without meaningful answers. She said many expected a more comprehensive release that would provide clarity about how investigations were conducted, why Epstein was able to evade accountability for so long. Advocacy groups argue that while protecting privacy is essential, transparency should include explanations about investigative decisions and institutional failures. The newly released materials include records from multiple investigations, reports and photographs documenting Epstein's wealth and social life. However, many observers note that a significant portion of Epstein-related material has already been made public over the years through court cases, civil lawsuits, and earlier disclosures. The Justice Department acknowledged it is still reviewing hundreds of thousands of pages for possible future release, Under the disclosure law, the department is permitted to withhold information that could compromise active investigations or reveal private details about victims. A spokesperson for former President Bill Clinton said the White House was attempting to shift attention by highlighting Clinton's appearance in the files. The spokesperson reiterated that Clinton was unaware of Epstein's criminal activities and ended contact once allegations became public. They argued that focusing on selectively released images distracts from broader questions about how Epstein's conduct went unchallenged for years. The Justice Department said the release demonstrates its commitment to transparency, noting that the disclosures were made despite the complexity and sensitivity of the materials. Critics counter that true transparency requires clearer communication, fuller disclosure, and accountability for past investigative failures. Legal analysts say the Epstein case continues to test public confidence in institutions tasked with enforcing justice, particularly in cases involving wealth and influence, officials say. More Epstein-related documents will be released in stages. Lawmakers have indicated they may pursue hearings or further oversight if future disclosures remain limited. For survivors and advocates, the next releases will be closely watched, not for high-profile names, but for evidence of accountability and institutional reform. As the process continues, the Epstein files remain a powerful symbol of unresolved questions surrounding justice, transparency, and trust in public institutions.